Beaulieu?
So I have a few questions. The first one would be, what would a kindergarten program look like?
I'd go to the principals for that question. The question is, what would a kindergarten program look like, half day versus full day? What's different about a full day K versus a half day?
A full-day K program would add 2 hours of instruction to the student's day. It would add art, music, phys ed, and library, but it would also give extended opportunities in literacy and math. It would allow teachers to implement the reading stream program, which we have had great success with complete fidelity, because that program is designed for a full-day K experience. And it would allow both for more formalized instruction and less formal instruction. It would allow kids more time to experience the subjects that they have instead of rushing through. Kindergarten now is quick. There is no time for unstructured play now in kindergarten at all. There is no time for recess or anything like that. That would be built into lunchtime. But the 2 hours additional of instructional time is what we really would hope to attain in public kindergarten.
The next question I have is about teacher placement. So if there is a reshifting and reshuffling, how would that be handled?
Sure, per the CTA contract, we have a job pool or job fair in the springtime, and if we did vote on this, we would post the open positions, be it extra grade 2, a grade 1, a K. Folks who are certified first could bid into those slots, and the remaining is posted out to the outside world.
So if you pick any given school and the boundaries were changing such that you were closing one grade's class, that teacher would then have her classroom closed and be able to bid on another position within the
Yes, based on the seniority, someone's displaced and they can bid on another position. That person has a position somewhere else.
Is there a concern with the fact that, presently that could be a grade 3 teacher who may bid to a grade 4 spot? So there'd be this changing of the guard, per se, of staffing, where right now there's continuity. Generally, we don't have a lot of movement because there aren't any places to move.
Beaulieu, we've in the past we have had in the past few years, not necessarily last year because we had a very small amount of retirements, but the year before I recall somewhere in the area of 18 to 20 retirements. It caused a lot of movement in the district because of teachers who left all grades, both elementary, middle, and high school. And those positions were filled by other teachers within the district who had those certifications. One of the other things that we would do is, in the event that we opened up pre-K or kindergarten full-day K classrooms, we would identify those people within the bargaining unit who are certified in that area, because there are certifications that go pre-K to 2. And we would make sure that those people are aware of the jobs that are available, because they are in fact specialists in that particular area. And we would try to fill the ranks with that type of an individual before we went out to the outside.
And the next question I have revolves around the quality or the perceived quality of our programs, and how do we ensure that regardless of where your child goes to school, the standard is very high?
Sure, I think right now, I get some of those questions now. I know some folks have mentioned to me, at one school, I hear kids do posters, another school, they don't do posters. And talking to the principals a lot about this, I think we have more and more commonalities. Tomorrow, you'll see more test scores coming out from NECAP, and you'll see, in many cases, the schools are getting closer and closer. I'll give you a quick preview. I know we have had focused on Cumberland Hill early on in some of my talks in terms of a lot of those folks going south. You'll see in the scores tomorrow, in one instance, Ashton performed at or above Cumberland Hill. At one instance, Garvin does. At one instance, BF scores above Garvin. So, they're really moving along. Reading Street's been really, has some nice continuity in ELA, and you're really seeing a nice return on that after 2 or 3 years with Reading Street. So I think more and more we're seeing, the same instruction. I would say we still have a ways to go as far as where I want to be. As you know, we published the curriculum for the first time this fall. That's important. We're now building the idea of common assessments, benchmarking. I think more and more we're getting a sense of standardizing expectations and assessments in curriculum instruction.
And then one last question that was raised by a Bear Hill constituent. The Bear Hill neighborhood is somewhat unique in that it would be shifted south, and the students, once they graduated from elementary school, and in this case they're directed to Garvin, would then go to North Cumberland Middle School. And the question was raised, as these kids really, you want them to establish roots and boundaries and friendships. It is unique because you'll then have a pretty small number of kids. And Mike, if you can pull up the slide for the number of Bear Hill kids, or community kids that would go to Garvin, the number is quite small. Would there be a consideration to letting a family have an option in that? So you'll have, I can't read the slide, Mike, right? Kippa, can you give me a couple of numbers from
Garvin to community?
From community to Garvin. So there's 4, 5, 7.
8, 4, 7, 7.
So it's a relatively small number, and I think, there's a desire of the neighborhood to not lose the north as its middle school. However, I do think there may be exceptions to that, and would there be a consideration?
My thought would be, if I make an exception for one, I must make it for all. That's kind of a slippery slope. I would say in the current map we live in, a small group of Ashton kids are fragmented like that now. That's the way it is right now. But if we made an exception, I guess I'd have to be really fair-minded and say, if I can't make it for all, I can't make it for any.
And the last question I have just really is about enrollment numbers. Have we taken into account the loss typically in grade 5 over the last few years to the charter school? Do those numbers take that into account?
Thoughts, Fred?
Well, the answer is yes and no. What we did is we looked at trends, enrollment trends. And about 2 years ago, charter school opened up 5th grade, so we took those trends and those patterns into account. We need to keep in mind that those students, those 5th graders, those 30 students or whatever the number of slots at maximum value prep, really come from all our 5 elementary schools. So in reality, you may have a couple of classrooms with 1, 2, or 3 students less, but it doesn't create a significant effect across the 16, 17, or 18, 15, 5th grade classrooms that we typically have.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?